Hello everyone. Today we will discuss the point fermentation. So what is meaning of fermentation? It is defined as the process of growing microorganisms in a nutrient medium by maintaining physico-chemical conditions and thereby converting feed into desired end product. So, in the method of fermentation, here we are using the microorganisms which are beneficial or helpful for converting the feed into the desired end product. Here, the microorganisms acts as a catalyst which will helpful in the reaction. Here, the microorganisms which are used in this fermentation method are the bacteria, viruses, and the fungi. So this is one flow chart for the method of fermentation. Here, by using this flow chart, we can explain the process of fermentation. So the first step is the primary screening. In the primary screening, the detection and isolation of microorganisms of our interest takes place. It determines that which microorganisms are able to produce a compound. After primary screening, we will move towards the secondary screening. Secondary screening is useful in sorting of microorganisms that have real commercial value. The microorganism having poor applicability in fermentation process are discarded. After the secondary screening, we will move towards the next step is the strain improvement. In this step, microbial strains are improved in order to enhance their metabolic capacities for biotechnological application. In this step, we will improve the strain which is necessary for the further step into the fermentation. After strain improvement, we will select a appropriate active strain. After the selection of appropriate strain, we will go towards the inoculum development. In this method, we will develop our inoculum which is helpful into the further fermentation processes. In the fermentation, the single loop pool of culture cannot be used. That's why here the inoculum is developed in the larger quantity. After that, the next step is the medium screening. In this step, we will select appropriate medium for the fermentation which will produce maximum yield of the product. This medium contains many of the components which are helpful for the production of the yield. After this medium screening, this medium is transferred into the fermentation tank. Here, the harvesting will take place, and after that, cell separation will be carried out, where the biomass and cell-free supernatant are get separated. These cell-free supernatant are extracted, and after the extraction process, the product purification is done as per the standard procedure. After the purification, that product is get formulated and transferred into the market for the further selling. So this is a simple process of a fermentation. The next point is the inoculum development. In the fermentation process, inoculum is very important. So here we will firstly use the freeze-dried culture. The freeze-dried culture is taken which is preserved sample. We will transfer this culture on the slant with the help of loop. After the proper incubation, the growth of microorganisms will take place on this slant. With the help of loop, we will take out the spores from the slant and we will transfer these spores in the culture medium, which will be the first seed medium, which is having the less quantity. After that, we will transfer this first seed medium into the another large flask which contain the maximum quantity of media. We will mix properly here the media so that the uniform distribution will take place. After that, we will transfer the second seed medium into the fermentation tank, which will be the third medium. This is the last step of the inoculum preparation. This inoculum is further added in the fermentation medium, which will be the last step where the further fermentation will take place with the help of the inoculum. The next point is the fermentation media. Fermentation media is nothing but the media which we use for the fermentation. So the choice of a good medium is very important for the source of industrial fermentation. All microorganisms require water and sources of nitrogen, carbon, mineral, vitamins for their growth. These all sources should be present into the media. Then only the proper growth of the microorganisms will take place. That's why these sources should be present into the fermentation media. So here we will discuss those sources which are present into the media. These are listed. The first is the carbon source. The common carbon sources used in pharmaceutical fermentation processes are glucose, fructose, sucrose, organic acids and hydrocarbons, etc. In addition to sucrose, bulk blackstrap molasses also contain small amount of complex polysaccharides and invert sugars. Glucose, sucrose and fructose are more expensive as compared to molasses, but it gives more clean medium, which will be the beneficial for the processes. That's why mostly the glucose, sucrose and the fructose are preferred. The next source is the nitrogen sources. These sources are also very important for the growth of the microorganism. The common nitrogen sources which we use are the yeast extract, peptone, ammonia, soybean, etc. The next is antifoaming agent. Fermentation medium containing proteins or peptides can produce foam in the process of agitation and aeration. If this foam is not controlled, it may rise in the head space of tank. This condition is mainly responsible for causing contamination of the fermenter. In this level, a foam medium may be forced out from the tank. Therefore, antifoam agents are added in the medium. Two types of antifoam agents are commonly used in the fermentation, that is crude organic materials and inert antifoams. For example, corn oil, soybean oil and other fatty acids are commonly used. The next point is the buffers. Buffers are generally added in the production medium for their buffering capacity. During microbial growth in the fermentation, pH may be changed by acidic or alkaline products. Decarboxylation of organic acids among the medium constituents may raise the pH and determination of strongly basic organic amines lower the pH of fermentation media. Next component is the minerals. Most fermentation processes requires minerals for the growth of microorganisms. Minerals such as potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, copper, chloride are used. These compounds are mainly present in complex nitrogen or carbon sources. And the next component is precursor. Precursors are added prior to the simultaneous with the fermentation. These substances are used to increase the yield or improve the quality of product. So here we are end up with the fermentation points. Thank you.